In the headlines, Jonathan rejects presidential forms, distances self from APC. Aviation sector crisis, lawmakers, stakeholders meet. Away from Nigeria, Sri Lanka deploys troops to enforce curfew after day of deadly unrest. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching. Beginning with political stories, former President Goodluck Jonathan has rejected the nomination and expression of interest forms brought for him by a coalition of northern groups on Monday. In a statement, media advisor to the former president, Ikechukwu Eze, said Jonathan did not authorize the purchase and considers the move by the group as an insult, adding that he is not aware of the bid. The statement further said that Goodluck Jonathan is not a member of the APC and therefore could not have accepted such gesture from those behind the move and urged the public to disregard the action of the group. Meanwhile, Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria says it did not and will not buy any form for any candidate contesting elections. The group, in a statement signed by its national secretary, Baba Othman Ngilzarma, said it has nothing to do with the buying of a presidential nomination form for former President Goodluck Jonathan for the 2023 elections. According to them, politics should be left to politicians as they see no mileage in supporting any politician when they are overwhelmed by the crisis being faced by their members nationwide. Magban, however, said that it will support a candidate that shows commitment to end the suffering of their members after the conclusion of party primaries by all the parties involved. Senate President Ahmad Lawan has declared his intention to contest the 2023 presidential election on the platform of the All Progressive Congress. Lawan made the declaration on Monday in Abuja while receiving the 100 million naira APC nomination and expression of interest forms presented to him by a political group, National Stability Project, led by Chief Sam Nkere. The Senate President, who said he had listened to various calls across the nation asking him to contest the office of the president, said he was ready to commit himself to the calls. A group known as the Good People of Nigeria say that they have bought the 100 million naira All Progressive Congress presidential forms for the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timipre Silva. Speaking at the NNPC Towers in Abuja, leader of the group, Alhaji Muhammad Abu Abaji, said the group has been closely monitoring the works of the minister in controlling the petroleum resources of Nigeria and believes that he is the right person to take over from President Muhammadu Buhari. The group said it believes that as a president, a lot will happen for all prospects, which will engender development of Nigeria. Responding, Silva, who received the forms, lauded the group for the initiative, but maintained that he will not confirm his acceptance of the norms of the forms until he consults with key stakeholders before making his decision to contest the election. Zamfara State Chapter of the All Progressive Congress APC has commended the national leadership of the party under His Excellency Senator Abdullahi Adamu for resolving the crisis that rocked the party, causing division among members. A statement by the Publicity Secretary of the APC in the state, Yusuf Idris, said this followed the signing of agreement between Governor Bello Muhammad and former Governor Abdulaziz Yari to ensure that all members remain together. It said with the signing, therefore, that the APC has once again been reunited under one roof. The two leaders promised and agreed to work closely together for the benefit of the state and the good people of Zamfara State. The state chairman of the party, Tukur Umar Damfulani, thanked all the stakeholders that participated in the peace accord. He said that his leadership has been making efforts in bringing all splinter members into the party so that Zamfara State will continue to enjoy peaceful political, social, and a prosperous economic environment. The APC chairman urged people of the state to continue to pray for the well-being of the state. Families of the abducted victims of Abuja Kaduna train attack have called for the resignation of the Transport Minister, Rotimi Amechi, saying it is disheartening how the minister is touring the country, campaigning for his political ambition, while their family members have not been freed from captivity. Fatima Saleh tells us more.
Children are crying every day, with the only question they ask being whether my mommy and daddy coming back.
The families say they have been battling trauma and confusion since the abduction of their family members, coupled with the recent report of 2 pregnant women who gave birth in captivity. They said the situation is horrific.
Today marks the 42nd day of our loved ones being held hostage. It has been 42 long days of living in fear. Among those abducted passengers are children, some as young as 3 years old, pregnant women including an 85-year-old great-grandmother, and others. Some of these victims have health challenges requiring daily medications, which they have had no access to in the last 42 harrowing days.
They said assurances have been made, but to no avail. And it is disappointing how the Minister of Transportation is touring the country seeking for the votes of Nigerians, while some innocent Nigerians are still held captive.
We must, however, register our displeasure with the way and manner the Minister of Transportation, Mr. Rotimi Amichi, has been handling the tragic event since it occurred. Just a few days after 28 March 2022, Mr. Amichi was seen running around the stadium in Port Harcourt, where he declared his intention to become the next president of Nigeria. Mr. President also directed the management of Nigerian Railway Corporation to establish a situation room to give a minute-by-minute account of rescue efforts to relatives of kidnapped passengers. Still, 1 week after this presidential directive was issued, NRC has neither contacted the relatives of kidnapped victims nor established any situation room.
These children, whose parents are among those abducted, said it is time for school resumption, but unfortunately no school fees, and they do not know when their parents will come back home.
To release them safely and let them free, and all those in captivity.
Wallahi, life has been so tough. It's unimaginable and it's unbearable. My siblings are resuming school, have resumed school today, and they have to pay their school fees before they are allowed into the class. So imagine, our father, our mother are taken. How can their school fees be paid? How can they be allowed to be in class? Just imagine. Our food, our clothing, that was how we spent Salah without them. They are the ones to provide for us, but they are not here. How can life be so easy without them in the house?
We always sleeping, crying, waking up crying. When we are eating, we're wondering, oh, is my mom eating well? Is she fine? Which condition is she in? How are they treating them? Are they all okay?
In a functional government, Amechi, the Honorable Minister of Transport, should have been sacked because NRC is under his supervision. Absolutely, it's a failure of system.
It has been 42 days since the unfortunate incidents, and up till now, no positive result. It will be recalled that President Muhammad Buhari, in his Salam message, has directed security operatives to secure the release of all those abducted. Fatima Saleh Laden, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
A civil society organization has called for peace and unity among Borno citizens to help fast-track development in the northeast region. The Smiling Hearts Initiative International made the call during a one-day sensitization campaign on peace and culture in Maiduguri. The group appealed to residents to embrace peace as the reintegration program of repentant Boko Haram into communities settles. It also noted that the insurgency, which has displaced man, also put many cultural aspects of the people on the brink of extinction, hence the need for citizens to promote culture.
Down to these states, we find out that a lot of people and their culture have been disembarked, because most of them, they were coming back from their attack regions, came into the town, and we saw some differences because most of those people are well cultured. Then the ones there, it seems like they were letting go of their culture. So coming back to them, bringing them back to this town, made them to bring the people together with the culture and to unite them more.
Yeah, actually it's a sensitization on peace and culture. And the essence of peace, as we know, is an action or to identify and support structures to support and supplement the efforts of government in expanding peace. Because now that we are having repentant Boko Haram, a lot of people are not willing to accept them. So how do we preach this idea? How do they tolerate them? How do they accept them, accommodate them, and forgive them? And we all know forgiveness is for God, but within us, we need to put it at our back so that we can forge ahead.
The Center of Excellence for Sickle Cell Disease Research and Training in the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital has called on mothers to ensure regular visits to health facilities as a way of combating sickle cell disease in newborns. The center made the call at a training workshop it organized for health workers and mothers on newborn sickle cell disease intervention in collaboration with the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu reports.
The training, which drew participation from health workers across primary healthcare centers in the area councils of the Federal Capital Territory, is part of efforts geared towards combating the rising number of the sickle cell disease in newborns. It is also in continuation of a 2020 launch of the Pediatric Sickle Cell Disease Program between the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency and Center of Excellence for Sickle Cell Disease Research and Training at the hospital, where health workers from 20 primary healthcare centers were trained.
One of the aspects of what we do in this sickle cell program is to ensure adequate training, in terms of manpower development. You can't go too far if the people who you're using in a project are not properly trained and do not follow the protocols as regards that project. We are working across those 20 centers from various places, Abaji, Kuje, and the rest of them across the FCT. They are the ones that we are primarily training today.
We have a free genotype test, a screening test for newborn babies in the FCT. Bring the baby to the clinic on Wednesdays, they are the pediatric clinic, so that we can educate you on how to look after the baby, so that we can give you the free drugs that are available.
Experts at the capacity building workshop trained the participating health workers in collection procedures as well as testing and storage of blood samples during genotype testing, while mothers of newborns were encouraged to take advantage of the free services rendered at the clinic.
Well, I am in the clinic, the pediatric clinic, and apart from newborn screening, we take care of the regular patients, sickle cell patients from birth to 18 and above.
Deployment of new techniques aimed at early detection, counseling, comprehensive care through vaccination and treatment to better manage the sickle cell disease condition in newborns are tailored towards preventing child mortality from complications. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up after the break. Persisting fuel scarcity. Details and more shortly. Thanks for staying. You're watching the news update on Trust Television. A look at the top story again. Jonathan rejects presidential forms, distances self from APC. Moving on, airline operators have called off the strike action it intended to commence on Monday, 9th of May 2022. This follows the intervention by the House of Representatives at the instance of the Speaker, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, in Abuja on Monday. Let's take a look.
At the end of the 4-hour session between the House, airline operators and the Group Managing Director on the NNPC, Mele Kyari, the overlanding cost of Jet A1, it was agreed that the proposed strike be called off to save the nation and Nigerians from untold hardship. The Speaker, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, read out the terms of agreement between the marketers and operators, which will pave way for the smooth running of the aviation sector in the short, medium and long terms.
The third resolution is that on the long term, mid to long term, if right now you will begin or commence the process of application for your own license to be able to import your own jet fuel, so that will remove whether it's middleman, whether it's fourth man, whether it's whatever, whether it's the vagaries of, you will know the landing cost and you will know it will assist you.
With the resolution, it is expected that in the next 3 months, 6 million liters of ATK will be made available to the operators at 480 naira per liter to be supplied through their preferred marketers, while in the term, it was resolved that license be granted to airline operators to import their aviation fuels directly from international oil markets. Other organizations present were the Central Bank of Nigeria, the NNPC, as well as the up and the downstream petroleum sectors, amongst others, who all made submissions.
Right, Honorable Speaker, needless to say that there is no fixed price. This is a deregulated product. So you cannot hold on to any price. And indeed, what you have seen in the media, the 700 naira reference point cannot be a reference point. It depends on the market condition. It can be higher than 700 naira per liter, depending on what price the market gets to. So it's needless to say that even to target 700, cannot be a reference point, right, Honorable Speaker. This market shifts as we speak now, is closely related to the price of crude oil.
540 as the cost. How then are some people now offering us 480 to say to us at 480? And remember, they gave from the PIF that was given to the marketers was given at 335, and we are still getting at 670. With due respect, sir, you may have to clear this out. Let's talk to ourselves the truth.
Your bank finds you worthy of that kind of intervention. Naira we will manage, but dollar, I don't produce naira, dollar. Naira we will see how to assist, but you have to first of all meet your bank. If it is naira intervention that you're asking for, but you, of course, you know that your bank will look at your creditworthiness to be sure that historically you've had a good credit. If you don't have a good credit, you're not going to access it.
This resolution will at least ensure that Nigerians will continue to go about their businesses unhindered for the time being.
Meanwhile, following the suspension of the planned aviation shutdown by Airline Operators of Nigeria, AON, normal work has resumed at the nation's airport. The suspension of the strike, which was scheduled for Monday, May 9, over the increase in aviation fuel, followed calls from the government and relevant authorities promising to address the situation. Our reporter Gaza Yakubu was at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja.
The planned action was primarily because of the increase in the price of aviation fuel from 190 naira per litre to 700 naira. Staffs of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport said the declaration of the now suspended aviation strike has affected their usual turnout at the airport.
Most of us didn't supposed to come work today because of the rumor we heard yesterday. But at least this is where we work, our daily morning. So we have to come and witness what is happening. And to be sincere, when you came, everywhere was Scan Cities. Most of us have gone back home. And right now, even me, I'm going back to my house. And because of the rumor, people are not able to come out today. But there's nothing like strike. They called it off yesterday. So people that have activities tomorrow, next tomorrow, they came to Abuja yesterday or Sunday because of that. So that is why I looked around everywhere, so scanty.
They, however, hope that the relevant authorities will swing into action to avert a similar situation in the future by addressing the issue raised by the Airline Operators of Nigeria, since any future strike, if not nipped in the bud, will have a devastating effect on their means of livelihood.
70% of Nigeria will leave base when we come out and also for the day. That is why we survive for now. It's only 30% that even though they do not work 2 days, 3 days, it will not affect them. But present in Nigeria now, everybody knows what is going on with the scarcity and everything in this country now. We live in daily hustling. When you hustle, your family will eat. If you don't hustle, your family will not eat. That is why in any daily, anything that will affect us for one day, we'll try to avoid it.
The management said a decision was reached by relevant authorities to address the price of aviation fuel before the action was called off. None of the airlines are grounded as they have continued their usual activities. Gaza Yakubu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Still talking fuel, motorists have called on the federal government to find a lasting solution as fuel scarcity surfaced again in the Federal Capital Territory and neighboring states. Trust TV's Kabir Lawal was at some filling stations to hear from consumers that have spent hours waiting to buy the commodity. The report.
There's indication that the scarcity of petroleum product has resurfaced again. Motorists are seen in long queues trying to buy the product, which is proving difficult. More so, the impact of the scarcity is especially felt by commuters who pay high price to be transported from one place to another.
To me, this is totally unacceptable, but the fact that we don't even know what caused the scarcity, where the scarcity is coming from until now, we don't even know. How can someone wake up in the morning, driving to work, all of a sudden discovers that there's hold up everywhere in all the filling stations, even most filling stations that have fuel are not selling? That I do not know until now, but I'm sure, I'm very, very convinced that a whole lot of filling stations here in Abuja have fuel.
Traffic gridlocks appeared across major parts of Abuja as many service lanes were closed to traffic due to queues from the petroleum stations. Consumers of the product told Trust Television that they left their various houses in the early hours to queue up at the filling station to get the commodity, but to no avail as they are still in the queue waiting for their turn. Some consumers further revealed that they had to tip fuel attendants to be able to pile the product.
I feel very bad because what we are suffering in Nigeria because of fuel subsidy is very bad. We are really suffering a lot. To get a fuel for your working or what you are using a fuel for is very expensive for us in Nigeria. Whether is the citizen of Nigeria and whether is we don't have anything and we are the ones suffering most in Nigeria. It's very bad. We can't continue this. This country needs to be changed. We need to change. We need changing in the country because the country is really going very bad situation that we, the poor ones, cannot even get anything. I come here as early in the morning, around 6 o'clock in the morning. This is now I'm going back. Even before I go back, I paid bribe before they give me this fuel.
It's shocking to me that I just woke up yesterday evening to discover that we're experiencing scarcity. I don't know where it's coming from, but I think something really fast needs to be done.
They said this fuel scarcity will affect food prices in the market as transporting these food items is also expensive. Most people slept here overnight and they are still not happy, and everybody have been talking their ordeal about the fuel scarcity presently going on in Abuja. In Abuja, Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News.
And more from the global perspective, the effect of the Russia-Ukraine crisis, which began on the 24th of February 2022, has continued to affect global economies, with Nigeria having its fair share, with Russia as one of the largest oil producers and Ukraine the largest in wheat and grains. Their inability to service markets across the world due to the crisis has negatively affected businesses, including those in Nigeria. Chamon Dabeng has more on this.
The Russia-Ukraine crisis has continued to take a toll on the rest of the world. In Nigeria, the cost of fertilizers, wheat-based food items and energy has soared exponentially, with the cost of diesel rising from about 280 naira in January to 700 naira per litre today. The hike in cost of energy has greatly affected the cost of doing business in Nigeria, resulting in an equal hike in the cost of goods and services. Economist Dr. Emeka Okengu speaks on the matter.
This is us. We burn, flare on a yearly basis 2 billion cubic feet of gas, and we import a fraction of that from Russia or Ukraine. Okay, this is us wanting to cry about, oh, energy is a major problem, And then you have these telecommunication companies that say to you, we are running our own generators. And we are here in this country, diesel moved from 350 naira to 800 naira. There are very few people who can run their diesel generators for more than 1 hour. Because what it technically means is that for you to be able to use that machine or equipment for 10 hours, you're going to be burning about 60,000 naira. Who does that?
Besides the struggles already faced in the manufacturing sector, the rise in energy costs has worsened the situation, with the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria calling for a national response and a sustainable plan for the sector. The association also advised businesses to adopt a strategic plan to limit the impact of the crisis.
Man says government help us. Is government supposed to be conjuring the wheat or the grains from the skies? All right? It's for all of us to start growing this consciousness and then look inwards. Like you said, we have these capacities. It's just that we don't have the volumes. All right, sir. And yes, we can also wait. Weeds from planting or transplanting to harvesting, some may be a 180-day cycle. So if you grow enough, and then the wheat belt stretches close to about 10,000 kilometers, so you can actually grow both the red wheat and the white wheat. The Borno belt will give you the very popular red wheat, okay, which locally is called Akama, so that people don't think we're talking about something, that's from the skies. And you still have, the Akama still being used, as the talias, okay. The talia you eat, most of them come from this wheat, some of them come from corn. Otherwise, we can also now go to substitute. Now, if we're talking about cereals, now, why are we not also thinking about some other things that we can be able to use for cereals?
Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Away from Nigeria now, Sri Lanka deployed thousands of troops and police Tuesday to enforce a curfew after 5 people were killed at an unprecedented economic crisis. Nearly 200 were also wounded Monday as Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa resigned. But that did little to calm public anger. Rajapaksa had to be rescued in a pre-dawn operation by the military Tuesday after thousands of anti-government protesters stormed his official residence in Colombo overnight, with police firing tear gas and warning shots to keep back the crowd. Authorities say that the curfew will be lifted Wednesday morning, with government and private offices as well as shops and schools ordered to remain shut. And with that, we wrap up Trust News Update. You can watch more by clicking the subscribe button on our YouTube page and also connect with us via our social media platforms. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching.